Gus, you get back to work. And Mac, you get the hell out of this department.
Now, wait a minute, damn it all. I've had just about enough of this crap. I've got to get an answer. We can't keep drifting. This is a very important issue.
Okay, that's it. You don't seem to understand. You're a troublemaker, and you always have been a troublemaker. This is the last straw. Punch out and go home. You're suspended.
The charge of insubordination in this case is ludicrous. Shop stewards are guardians of the collective bargaining agreement. They must police it and protect it from erosion and attack. To suggest, as the company has in this case, that shop stewards undermine managerial authority when they perform their function in a vigorous and militant manner is outrageous. If shop stewards must live in fear and trembling of possible retaliation from the company, they become totally ineffectual. Consider also the devastating effect this would have on the union as an institution. The grievant did not tell the temporary foreman to leave his job. He did not counsel him to disobey a company order. He merely spoke to him about a problem that was symptomatic of the general attitude of the company. It disregarded the collective bargaining agreement whenever it was convenient to do so. The grievant has made every reasonable effort to get management to act and to rectify this contract violation. There's no doubt that he felt frustrated in dealing with the company. But if there is to be any blame, it must be borne by the supervisor. He failed to respond in settling grievances. He overreacted when he felt his authority was being challenged. He, I would submit, was the aggressor in this case. The company has made a great deal of the fact that the grievant refused a direct order from the supervisor to leave the department. Yet under these circumstances, the supervisor had no right to order a shop steward around in that manner. He was there on official union business and was entitled to be there. If a shop steward can be told to leave every time he begins to discuss a grievance with a member of management, the company will be able to undermine the union and render it impotent. Finally, the company has commented about the use of strong language. Well, we all know we're not in a Sunday school. It was shop talk, pure and simple. You can't expect people in the heat of debate to speak with restraint. They were used in a general way. Nothing personal was intended.
That seems to be a different version of what took place. But you have to admit the grievance record was pretty bad.
In the union's closing statement, they spoke about his record and the way in which the company handled his discharge.
The arbitrator must determine two things in this case. Was there wrongdoing? And if so, was the degree of penalty imposed appropriate? We believe that through our testimony, we have unequivocally shown that the grievant was not guilty of wrongdoing. The burden of proof rests with management. It carries that burden because the contract states that an employee may only be disciplined or discharged for just cause. Management must show, by at least a preponderance of the evidence, that the employee did precisely what he was charged with. In this case, insubordination. This management failed to do. We would further argue that the company was lacking in just cause because it acted both arbitrarily and capriciously. The grievant was first suspended and then later discharged after an investigation. That investigation was a sham. The company relied solely on the word of the supervisor. How can you have a proper investigation where the grievant is not even allowed to be present and where no key witnesses are asked their version of what took place? The supervisor served as witness, prosecutor, and judge, all rolled into one. The company had made up its mind in this case and did what it wanted to do. One of the principles of labor relations is that discipline should be corrective and not punitive. Discharge should only be the last resort. To uphold this discharge would be a gross injustice. The discipline does not match the supposed crime. We all know that discipline must be reasonably related to the seriousness of the offense and the employee's record. Let us consider that record. The union president, you will recall, testified about the grievance personnel file.
Sure, there are a lot of things on Mac's record, but I have to think the company is gunning for him.
That is pure conjecture on the witness's part. Can't we just stick to the facts?
I believe you were telling us about some of these past infractions. Would you continue?
Just about everything on here had to do with union business. Look at this one. Removal of notice from company bulletin board without company's approval. Now that happened just before the representation election. The company put up a notice directed at the employees telling them all the bad things about the union. Mac here tore it down. It wasn't until after the election was over before we got it all cleared up. And this not punching his own time card. What a trumped-up deal. A shop steward can't always punch his own card because he's on special business. Why he got a written warning for that, I'll never know. The same's true for not calling in. And when he used the company Xerox machine to run a notice about a union meeting, they stuck it to him. They never complain if someone uses a Xerox machine to run off a notice about a church meeting or a company picnic.
I see no reason, Mr. Arbitrator, to re-argue these previous penalties. These penalties were worked out in conjunction with the union or were determined by an arbitrator.
Well, I think you should know that there's some, what do they call it, union animus around here?
Wow. So, what did you finally decide?
I know what I decided. I want to know what you decided. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going? What did you decide?
I'm going to start lunch. You're the arbitrator. You can make the decision. Lots of luck.